Hello and welcome to Rentapoints, Xbox achievements on a budget. In the search for gamerscore, there are a handful of titles that offer them up on a silver platter. Games like Avatar, The Burning Earth and TMNT are legendary for their easy points. Well, now we can add another one to the list, Terminator Salvation. The points in this were so quick and easy to get, I even had time to play it all again to give my friend's gamerscore a boost. Now, looking at the game itself for a second. Yes, it's a movie tie-in, and it falls into all the usual pitfalls you'd expect from a game of this type. The controls are sloppy, the level design is amateur, and as small of a fault this is, the lack of variation in the enemies really bugs me. Aside from the boss fights, you only ever spend your time fighting 3 kinds of enemies. All in all, it's a pretty poor excuse for a game, even by movie tie-in standards, and yet it's perfect for Rentapoints. Games this generous are few and far between, so finding one this soon was a real stroke of luck. Well, I'm sure you're all eager to know more, so without further ado, on with the review. Terminator Salvation is a third-person shooter released on pretty much all platforms. Xbox, PlayStation, PC, hell, it even spawned an arcade version. But no matter what form this game took, it faced pretty harsh criticism across the board. Complaints range from repetitive combat and bad visuals to a frustrating health system and almost no replay value. On top of all that, they couldn't even get Christian Bale to do the voice for John Connor. This happens so much with movie tie-in games and always makes me laugh a little when it does. Oh well, it's not like having Christian Bale voice would have saved this game anyway, so it doesn't really matter. As for the scores, most people rate it as a mediocre title. IGN gives it a 6.3 and GameSpot a 5 out of 10. There really isn't much to talk about with this one. Terminator Salvation sports a very small 11 achievements, all of which are completion awards. Most are for completing individual levels, but the last and most rewarding achievements are for completing the campaign on the higher difficulties, which, if you're anything like me, you'll be playing on anyway. Thankfully, it still has the full 1000 points up for grabs, and due to so few achievements, it delves them out in pretty big chunks. It gives you 80 points per chapter, 100 for completing on medium, and 180 for completing it on hard. Terminator Salvation has no search, purchase or online awards, but what's even stranger is the lack of any skill awards. You'd think that a third-person shooter would have the usual kill X with Y. Even some of the biggest FPSs have these achievements in one way or another. So either the game designers purposefully chose not to include them, or the guy responsible for designing the achievements called in sick and left the work experience kid to sort it out. My money's on the latter.
If you brought them to our doorstep.
As I'm sure you already know, I got the full 1000 with this game. Come on, how could I not? The achievements in this are so ridiculously easy, it's almost an insult to call them achievements. Although, one thing worth noting was whilst doing my second playthrough on co-op, the achievement system bugged up and decided not to award any points for the last 4 chapters. Depending on how you look at it, Terminator Salvation is either a terrible burden on the gaming community and best suited to a bargain bin, or a gem in a sea of crap that should be honoured and remembered for all time. And for all intensive purposes, the former would apply. Yes, the story is badly written and too short, the graphics are subpar and they couldn't even get the original actors to voice it. But it hands out that 1000G like its life depends on it, and in the eyes of Rentapoints, that makes it a gem. Well, that's it for this review, guys. Looks like we found the keeper. If you're hunting for easy gamerscore, and let's be honest, if you're here then you probably are, then hunt down Terminator Salvation and reap the easy rewards. Until next time, thanks for watching and see you later.